Are you tired of explaining yourself over and over again? You just don't know how to say something so that people understand what it is, why you do things the way you do, and you just feel like no matter what, they just don't get you. Well, I have another video linked here on speaking your language and understanding other people's language. So I encourage you to watch that one as well. But I'm going to focus on that over explaining yourself. And if you know and feel comfortable with your personal process, first of all, you will not feel the need to over explain yourself because typically when you're in that situation, it is just a matter of not understanding one another's process. And even if people understand it, maybe they don't accept it. Maybe they still just think, like, well, I understand it, but that's not how they should be doing it. So I worked with a client the other day and we were talking about productivity. And she was like, well, I just get tired of, people just don't do what they just don't do anything at work. They're just not doing anything. And I'm sure that that person is doing something. Now, don't get me wrong. There are always going to be people that actually are not doing anything. And that is something that has to be addressed. It might not have anything to do with their personal process. It might have to do with something completely different. But before you jump to that conclusion, learn them, understand them, instead of having them try to explain to you over and over again, I am doing something, I am doing something. So here's an example of that. My youngest son has strategic thinking strengths high. He does a lot in his head. When he was a teenager, he could lay in bed for a good chunk of the day. I don't operate that way. I didn't understand it. It drove me nuts. And I would go in and I'd be like, get up, get your day going. Why aren't you doing anything? And he would try to explain to me and over explain to me over and over again. I am doing something. I am being productive because he's thinking things through. He's creating different solutions or different scenarios that he can work through in his head. He's learning about new things. Maybe he was, of course, the tablet or whatever was in front of his face. And maybe he wasn't just sitting there playing games the whole time. Maybe he's on YouTube and he's actually watching some really important videos and he's learning and taking in information and processing it and having it help him figure out what next step he wants to take because he's coming up with a plan. I don't see any of that. And he has to try to over explain it to me and just, I wasn't getting it because I didn't understand his process. I didn't know where those strengths fell for him. If I did, I would have had a different perspective to it. And he wouldn't have to keep over explaining to me that he is actually doing something. And I don't have to over explain to him why I think being up and moving is more important because I have activator high. I have other strengths high. That's the way that I work. And when we try to put our process on each other, it's going to clash. It doesn't always go like this. It doesn't go like this. Often it goes like this. So if you are tired of over explaining yourself, I highly suggest you learn your process. You feel confident and comfortable in it. So, first of all, you don't have to. And secondly, if you feel like you do need to give somebody a reason for why it is you're doing, you will now have a clearer explanation of what that is without feeling like you're just going over and over and over again.